Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, Graham Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Good morning to you, Coach Turner, to James, the one and only, the UCSC Banana Slug, and T-Duck, who are already with us this morning. How are you doing? Where are you? How are you doing this morning? Let me know. Yes, it's a definite bon dia alegria with a slight, how can I put this? I went on a bit of a mini bender yesterday afternoon. There I was, finding myself in a cocktail bar at 4 p.m, drinking a not that I endorse this sort of behavior necessarily. Actually, I do endorse this behavior for me yesterday afternoon. It was brilliant. I had a fantastic time at the San Martino de Porto meetup yesterday. Change of venue, a bit of a special occasion on account of Sarah Davey of Spartan FX joining us. Nuno was there as well. My friend Nuno Mensch from Winsurance joined us as well. Heather was there, who'll be with us at 9 this morning. Paula, also a real estate agent, and a lot of very interesting people. There were people there who'd adopted 175-pound tortoises, people who'd landed planes in the North Pacific Ocean, people who'd smuggled fugitives past armed military checkpoints, people whose love in life is pickleball or volleyball, people who can sing like Sam Cooke. These are all the secret things they told me that were a part of a sort of ice-breaking exercise in the conversation. It was a networking do, but not like those boring networking do's where people stand up for 5 minutes each and try and sell you stuff. And you know what that's like when you go to a networking do and you think, hold on a minute, it's 30 people here. That guy just spoke for 5 minutes. That's 150 minutes I'm going to be here before anything gets eaten. It wasn't like that. I made sure it wasn't like that. It was absolutely beautiful. And I'll come back with a bit more of a match report. I just want to show you why I'm a little bit and it's not really the worst for wear. I feel it's green around. I'm not even that green around the gills. I'm just a little bit. I can feel that I went on a bit of a mini bender yesterday afternoon with that mix. You know what it's like? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But sometimes you're not expecting to have a few drinks and for your day to change its trajectory. That's what happened to me yesterday afternoon, during the meetup and thereafter. And this morning, feeling the effects somewhat, but a real mixture of like, wow, wasn't that amazing? And oh, I'm not sure I could do that every day. That's the feeling. And that's what started. I was going to say started the trouble. No trouble. That's what started the trajectory. That's right. That's where my afternoon took a course that I wasn't expecting in the Gatsby bar of the Storytellers Palace here in San Martino de Porto. And that today, a slightly hastily put together Try Something Portuguese, but I do urge you to pop along and try something Portuguese, which is the Storytellers Palace. And it looks as though I'm having a meeting with Marco and Miguel there later on this afternoon to talk about whether we should repeat yesterday's meetup. I think they're very glad to re-host us again on a monthly basis. I'm going to go and talk. My people are talking to their people. In fact, we're talking to each other later on this afternoon. So really looking forward to that. And thank you to everybody. There they are. Thank you to everybody who came along to that meetup yesterday. It was superb. Look at that beautiful dining room. Very, very special. The architect of the building also, I think, built the first big hotel in Villarreal de Sant Antonio. Also did the interior of the Leiria Castle. An extraordinary architect, and that was built as a private home in the bay here in San Martino de Porto. And now we're lucky to have it as a luxury hotel here in San Martino, among the many other excellent facilities and experiences you can have here, especially when you join us in the first week of November. Hope to see you then. Okay. Let's see what's being said in the chat this morning. So, rainy day in Caldash Derenya. We're getting a weather report from T-Duck, who would appear to be in Caldash, or at least is watching the weather closely over there. Let me just bring my furniture back onto the screen. There we are. We're on air. It's a Good Morning Portugal show. How are you doing? It's a bit quiet. Did everyone else go on a bit of a mini bender yesterday afternoon and still in bed? I've got a feeling, John Joel de Nort said he was having a bit of a duvet day yesterday. I think there's quite a lot of that going on at the moment. I'm looking out the window. The temperature this morning it's 20 degrees outside. It's really mild, but very grey and threatening with rain quite persistently. I'm taking my vehicle in for a once over, a bit of a look at from Joao, the mechanic. And I'll be putting my bicycle in the back and cycling home. I hope it brightens up a bit before I do that later on today. So a rainy day in Caldash. Morning to you, T-Duck. Good to see you, mate. And let me see, which of these are the dad jokes? Yes, don't read those out by mistake. Really enjoyed those yesterday, I must say. Proper doorstepped Bobby O'Reilly at the end of the show. He pretends he doesn't like the dad jokes, but you can see it's all over his face. His body is writhing with delight and good humor as he hears me utter the dad jokes at the end there. And I think a lot of people have that relationship with the dad jokes. Oh, no, not the dad jokes. And then they hear them and think, oh, that's so good. Bon dia from a beautiful Madeira Island. He's there, Coach Turner, after all that talk of how difficult it is to fly into Madeira Airport. It sounds like he had a successful landing there and off for a long walk this morning along the coast to include coffee and a pastel de nata. If you can remember us and take a photo of that glorious moment, Coach T, that would be wonderful. And look, even on holiday, he's sending us in part 3 of the third and final core exercises. It's a side plank, everybody, this morning. So do you need to warm up for this? Should I do this later or should we do it now? Should I do it again later once you've had a chance to think about it? Okay. Get your mind in, visualize yourself doing this and then maybe do it for real a little bit later on in the show. Lying on your side, lift yourself up onto your forearm. Yes, done this one as well, making sure your body forms a straight line. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds. So happy planking, everybody at home. Change sides, marinade, 5 minutes under the grill on each side. Change sides and repeat. If that's too difficult, bend the legs. Okay, so yeah, you can bend your legs a bit, can't you? But the proper plank, I think, is going to be in a straight line right down to the ankles. Very good for building core strength, which is what these 3 exercises over the last 3 days have been about from the Coach Turner. Thanks, mate, for those. Have a beautiful time in Madeira. Bom dia a todos. Feliz quinta. Como va a todos? From James this morning. It is quiet in the chat. Come on, everybody. Tor Carlson, here he is. Bon dia from a drizzling Caldash. Thank you, sir, for being there yesterday. And not only that, but for becoming a GMP VIP yesterday as well. So really appreciate your support of the show and all that we do, Tor, being there in person at the meetup and becoming a GMP VIP. I was... my people, again, we're talking to other people's people about special deals, perks, and discounts that we've got for the GMP VIPs. And I think we need to induct you into the gmpvip.com area, Tor. I don't think you're there yet, but I will make sure. In fact, I might put the invite link to you, my friend, over in the chat right now. So let's see if we can do that. It's quite a big link. You should have been sent this. You should have been sent this, Tor, if my automation works. But there's the invitation for GMP VIPs who, when you support the show, you come into our private community. There's the link for it there, Tor. And I will wave you through on arrival. So thank you very much for being part of that. Actually thinking about it, I might have to do a bit of one-to-one induction with you after the show, but see how you get on with that. And look forward to seeing you on those pages over there. Thank you. Muito obrigado. Great to see you again yesterday. Bairandi also in. Now, guess what? Bairandi is pleased to see the return of a certain gentleman to our screens. Where did that go, Bairandi? We've got Paul Correa joining us next Monday. He got in touch. Any chance I can be on the show? Used to really enjoy, didn't we? A lot of us used to enjoy Paul's insight, macroeconomics. He, of course, of fiduciary wealth management, and he used to join us with his candid insight into the world of personal finance, wealth management, and money, and the global picture. Always interesting to talk about that, isn't it? And he'll be joining us on Monday morning, dedicated to helping expats and their families, especially good with helping UK foreigners, UK expats on the Iberian Peninsula. But whether you are one of those or not, he's always good value to listen to for that big macroeconomic picture. Joining us on Monday, returning to the Good Morning Portugal screen on Monday. So good to exchange messages with you yesterday, Paul. I'm delighted to be having you back on the screen on Monday. If you have requests for other speakers or experts around the whole business of moving to Portugal, do let me know and I'll invite them onto the screen. Can't guarantee that they'll be here, but I can certainly invite them. And we've got a couple of picks from Coach Turner this morning. Thank you for those. I can't see those. Where have they ended up then, I wonder? Or have you sent them to someone else this morning? That's interesting. I'm not seeing them in my WhatsApp as yet. Oh, yes, I am. There he is, right at the top. Silly me. Okay, the view isn't bad, says one of them. That is a beautiful blue sky. I could do with a bit of that over here and a beautiful sky last night. That is wonderful. Thank you very much for those. Couple of beautiful pickies then I'm going to put on the screen now from, well, live, just sent in from Madeira, where Coach Turner is this morning. Arrived there yesterday, and he was greeted last night with a sunset of this kind. Look at that. Madeira. We've got to get over there, haven't we? We've got to do a Gumper tour over there. I think Philomena is all over that, and the Azores trips to the islands. Some really good deals she can get. So maybe we can do a little bit of a Gumper tour over there at some point. And is that this morning? It must be, mustn't it? Because you were only there yesterday afternoon. That's this morning. Beautiful view of the sea. What a lovely villa. That really looks like you are on holiday to me. It could be the Algarve, couldn't it? And it seems very Portuguese, of course. But that has a very special holiday vibe to it. And, you know, I wonder what you're drinking this morning. Probably not a cocktail just yet, Coach Turner. Oh, hold on a minute. Forgive me. Not sure what happened then. Coach Turner, yes, probably not a cocktail for breakfast. Maybe a Bloody Mary tomorrow morning, though, if all goes according to plan. No, I'm just imposing how I would roll, aren't I, onto you there. Not how I would roll onto you, Coach Turner. This conversation's getting messy now. I think I'm going to back out of this cul-de-sac, reverse at some speed, and head back out into the rest of the chat. That is how I roll onto you. No, that's not what I meant to say. Bon dia, criaturas. Dreary morning here, but Catface enjoys the change of channel. Catface there, John's cat, of course, who we've seen grow up. I mean, she's such a big boy or girl now. Thank you, John, for the lovely picture of Catface looking out of the window, which I'm trying to find as well. Come back to Catface enjoying the ever-changing landscape of the hills in Ponte Lima. They could see here. John, love to you. And Pam. Camilla, great to see you yesterday at the meetup. Camilla Bonfant, who... somebody else, I think, has just become a GMP VIP. Did you hear that ka-ching there? That was good, wasn't it? He's a boy. Thank you very much, Catface. I can't really tell from the name Catface if it's a boy or a girl, can I? Am I missing something there? But yeah, Catface is a boy. Sorry, Catface, if you're listening and you're mad at me for not knowing that. Roll on, Carl. Bon dia a todos. Good morning to you, Bob and Viv. I promise I'm not going to roll on to you either this morning. I'm miles away. And thanks to Paul. By this time next year, we'll all be millionaires. Yeah, Paul Correa joining us next Monday. Bon dia a todos from Antonio F as well. We've got Heather joining us at 9 this morning. How are you doing this morning, Antonio? And no video. Oh, I think you were probably looking at, were you looking at the still that I was showing there, Antonio F? If anyone else has got any technical difficulties with the show this morning, let me know. That might just be you, Antonio. It's never nice to hear that. It's you, not me. But I think it might be on this occasion. Let's see. Come back to you on that. Dad joke warning. You've been warned. Not a big warning, but a quick one. And I made a chicken salad last night. Apparently, they prefer grain. Very good. I like that. And something to think about from the banana slug. Speaking my mind is easy. Speaking it tactfully, not so much. Yes, that's so true. And there are two things that can be done about that, can't there? Maybe those around you needn't take you so seriously. And of course, we can adjust our communication to make it a little more tactful. I'm going to have to be mindful of that. I'm talking about how I used to be woke in the 80s with Mrs. M at 10 o'clock. Woke in Progress, a new feature on her Barefoot broadcast show, when I'll be talking about how I was radicalized in the 80s into becoming a radical feminist, socialist, vegetarian. I was in the late 80s, among other things, among other ideological twists and turns in my life that I'll be speaking about in the Barefoot broadcast after 10 this morning. And I think we've got a deep thought from T-Duck. Of course we have. Look, a deep thought from T-Duck. Kurt Vonnegut again. Take life seriously, but none of the people in it. So there you go. That pairs beautifully like a fine dish with a fine wine. This is speaking, my mind is easy, speaking it tactfully, not so much. And we can segue beautifully into Kurt Vonnegut's quote there. Take life seriously, but none of the people in it so seriously. Good advice this morning. A nice combo from James and T-Duck there. And in case you missed the morning meme this morning, I've got a lovely little video to play for you in just a moment. In case you missed the morning meme, and you're getting upset by what other people say and the way that other people behave, you don't need to take it seriously, do you, or personally necessarily. I think, as sure as, and we continue tonight, I'll come back to that in just a moment. We continue tonight with the death and taxes theme, it would appear, on Expats Portugal tonight. This is the webinar, Funeral Planning and International Wills in Portugal. Not the most cheerful of subjects, but something that needs to be dealt with. It's good to dot that I and cross that T. That will be 7:30's webinar and the dream team thereafter. Death and taxes for sure in life, right? Nobody seems to escape that. And also other people. Other people with their funny ways of being that can potentially upset us. We don't need to be upset, do we? We don't necessarily need to be upset. And where the upset takes place, strangely enough, is not with those people. It's not with it starts with them, doesn't it? But what we make of it happens inside our head. So I would commend this morning meme to you. You spend most of your life inside of your head and your body, of course. Make it a nice place to be. So don't let people live there rent free, I suppose, is another way of putting it this morning. So thank you for those for that food for thought there, T-Duck, and to James. And who else has joined us this morning? Sarah's in. Sarah Yeoman is with us. Good morning to you, Sarah. And okay, it was Antonio. I got video and sound now. When you join and there's just an image on the screen and I've muted the mic to cough, it can look like the show has malfunctioned. Let me play you an amusing thing now that came from, it was just from a specifically Mancunian. Is it called Totally Manchester? This is from a social media site dedicated to the people and the habits of people in Manchester. A wry and humorous look at the Mancunians. I think taking the mickey out of themselves, or taking the Mancuni out of themselves here. Here is one of their videos, which I think you will appreciate. And we can appreciate it because it takes a sideways look, literally, at UK programming about our neighbours in Spain. But it could equally apply to what goes on here sometimes in Portugal.
Hello, buenos dias.
This week we're in the Costa del Sol with Terry and Janet, a retired builder and dinner lady from Stockport.
We just love the Spanish way of life, don't we, Janet? The tavernas,
Yeah, the tavernas. They're on the lookout for a 4-bedroom villa with sea views, with a budget of 21,000.
Well, we want somewhere traditionally Spanish, but with a community almost entirely made up of expats. We'd love to speak the language one day, wouldn't we, Janet? But we haven't really got the desire or the motivation to learn. We'd love an extra bedroom or two so family feel the pressure to come on holiday with us instead of doing what they really want to do.
I know you're a bit concerned about things to do around this area, so I've brought you along here to this local pottery centre.
I could see us spending a lot of time doing pottery when we move here. You've certainly given us a lot to think about.
A lot to think about. So Terry and Janet decided not to put an offer in on any of the properties, but they said that their 2-week trip paid for by us really helped them with their search. See you next time.
There we go. It's called Proper Manchester. Hilarious as well, and I have to take some responsibility for being part of that phenomenon, as is phenomenon, as is Bairandi, who has also been on that travel show. I'm sure they can take a joke over there, but those words, there are several lovely little cliches in there, weren't they? You've certainly given us a lot to think about. You've certainly say that again, please, for placing this. Yes, you've certainly given us. Please again, cut. You've certainly given us a lot to think about. Thank you very much. Yes. We've been part of it, haven't we, by Andy? Oh, and so has Paul, who I saw yesterday of the Delgado Mansion. Let's say a little bit more about the meetup yesterday. Paul of the Delgado Mansion. Nice to see you yesterday, and his is a property, one of the beauties, one of the £1 million properties or million euro properties that is featured soon, I think, on Place in the Sun. Unless you've seen it already, they broadcast every day, don't they? A Place in the Sun, so it's hard to keep up with their broadcasting schedule. So expect to see me and Paul and by Randy on there at some point in the future. It's a lot of space to fill, and the three of us have been on there, or have certainly been filmed, if not broadcast yet. There's Catface looking out of the window in Pontalima. Isn't that beautiful? What a lovely boy. No, I know that information. Catface having a look at nature's TV screen, the great big widescreen production that is the nature of Pontalima out of John's window there. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Have a lovely day, John, Catface, Pam, in Pontalima, where I suspect the weather's a little bit like it is here in Caldas de Rainha. Can't quite make up its mind. I'm not in Caldas de Rainha, actually. It's drizzly in Caldas de Rainha, just as it is a bit further along the Silver Coast here in San Martinho de Porto. Talking of which, try something Portuguese then. Let me just spin that in correctly. I want to share this with you just one more time. Sorry to bang on about it. So trying something Portuguese today, why not pop along and join us for what I'm sure will now become a monthly event at the Storytellers Palace. Come along to the meetup or just go there, stay yourself. We've got a nice little GMP VIP discount at the Storytellers Palace. Hit me up for that. If you want the details of a special deal, we can arrange for you at the Storytellers Palace. What a beautiful place. Luxury on the Silver Coast here. It was superb. Let me show you. That was the starter we had. That was beautiful. That was a manga. Ceviche de manga, and we finished with a traditional, as if grandma had made it, the beautiful arroz doce. And I had a wonderful shrimp tagliatelle. Other people had vegetable lasagna made entirely with vegetables, and there was a mushroom risotto as well. And this was the assembled crowd. My guest at 9 is in there somewhere. Oh, there she is. There's Heather in that picture. And later on that same day, we ended up downstairs in the Gatsby bar. Look at it there. Now, I sauntered up to that bar. The cocktails had already been ordered. Would you like one? Oh, go on then. And Luis mixed it up. There he is, making my Bloomsbury Breezer, a cocktail I've never had before, which was absolutely delicious. So thank you very much for that little treat, Carl Hyde. There it is. Looks like a cat, doesn't it? With little cat ears. That was delicious. And there's a few of us there. Dan, myself there, Carl Hyde and Sarah. And you know what? One of the great things about the meetup is they were giving away free money. How about that? People who came and joined us got free money given to them. Euros, chocolate euros, it has to be said. So that was very thoughtful, Sarah, having popped into Lidl and seen the bags of chocolate euros. She treated us to a few of those. Where's my the kids nicked my Spartan FX pen already? So I commend that to you. In whatever capacity you come to San Martinho de Porto and the Storytellers Palace, join us for the next meetup, which I'm sure will be at the back end of November and will be monthly here on in. Or treat yourself to a beautiful luxury weekend there at the Storytellers Palace. That has been your Try Something Portuguese today. Something else I want to share with you, which is another thing that you can try, which is Portuguese in origin, although this is a remix of a Portuguese favorite. Would you or wouldn't you? That could be a new feature here. I'm happy to try things, and I haven't had many suggestions recently about Portuguese things I should try. It's been difficult to lay my hands on some of them. If you could bear that in mind when you're suggesting things for me, trying an Azorean pot roast that's been made with volcanic heat under the ground is a little bit difficult for me to organize in the mornings. So if you can make them a little bit more practical or find a way of flying me out to the Azores, that'd be great. But this one I'm about to share with you doesn't help with the Portugal 15, which is a bit like going to college in the United States, where I believe the young students put on £15 on arrival in that first semester. Same thing when you move to Portugal, especially when things like this are stuck in front of you. Now, do you recognize this? This is Taylor Amaranth, who's a comedian whose work I haven't seen, I've got to say, but let's get Taylor on the show and alongside Tamaka Tan maybe one day. Or maybe we could do a comedy special one evening. Let's see. Had these unbelievably delicious Bifana fries in San Jose at the Folklore Festival a few weeks back. Is that San Jose, I wonder? Is that so? A Portuguese comedian, maybe over there in the United States, in California. Is that where the is that San Jose in the States there in the Folklore Festival? I don't recognize that one. The point is they were given this Portuguese inspired dish here, and forgive the polystyrene plate and the plastic fork. This is well, Taylor's telling us here, this is what happens when our Portuguese people mix it up a bit. Love when our Portuguese people mix it up a bit like this to create something different, says Taylor. They were amazing. Would you eat these? Yes, I would. And what do you think about them, David? How to cook stuff? Okay, I think this may well have been the United States where Taylor could be on tour. And Taylor gave it a high score, 11 out of 12 popsicles, which may be a theme of Taylor's comedic routine. I don't know what a popsicle is. Can anyone else help me with that? I haven't tried one of those either. And I haven't tried Bifana fries yet. Now, Brits will like that because Brits like their... I remember when we were in Tamar recently, and it was Veronica who says, who has cheese on potatoes? And I'm thinking, well, every British person at some time in their life. Come on, Veronica. It would appear. I can't believe Americans haven't put cheese on potatoes. I mean, Americans put cheese on everything, right? Where it shouldn't be sometimes, I hasten to add. And they must have put cheese on potatoes at some time. But she wasn't happy about it when she was served her potatoes with cheese on. And we do that in the United States. We have cheesy chips, another Mancunian thing. We have chips with curry sauce, and chips with gravy as well. I'll be talking more about that, I suspect, when I talk about Sheffield after 10, Sheffield in the UK after 10 this morning with Mrs. M on the Barefoot Broadcast. And so this wouldn't be out of place or a shocker for the Brits to have Bifana, that will be the marinated pork, in gravy on some chips or fries. That looks like that. I think that could be UK or US. You don't tend to see chips quite like that, do you, in Portugal? Would you or wouldn't you? Is the question there. And Heather is good to go. I thought she was sending me a private message to say, yes, I would. We'll ask her in just a moment. Cheesy potatoes. Yeah, okay. Potatoes au gratin. Well, yeah, potatoes au gratin, or posh there, Heather. But we're talking about grated cheese on potatoes, definitely done in the US. You see, yeah, and they always have to take it further, don't they? Or don't you? Addressing you directly, Americans, this morning. And bacon, and no doubt cilantro, and Parmesan, and all sorts of other things. Pickles in there as well. And some mustard, maybe. I knew it. I knew the Americans would definitely have cheese on their potatoes, but it did throw Veronica recently in Tamar. Maybe it was a particular way in which it was done. Let's just check in with a couple more comments before we welcome Heather to the screen. Yeah, it was great fun. What was that? When you had cheese on chips that time? Or was it when Paul joined us? I'm not sure what you're talking about there, by Randy. Or when wine ran down the streets of Bayreuth. That wasn't fun. That wasn't good for anyone. There was a crying shame. I'm sure people were literally crying when they saw red wine running down the streets of Bayreuth. Mr. S is in. He's confused me again with the Portuguese. I can't see it. It's very difficult to converse with Mr. S if you haven't seen the first comment, which he then riffs upon. This could be it. Bom dia a todas vós desde as aldeias do Gisto. Okay. There he is with his central Portugal turn of phrase, as Philomena has pointed out. They're enjoying a bit of Gisto. And I saw my article about the Central Portugal tour that we did with Philomena in the paper. I found out where to buy the Portugal Resident. Oh, that's another GMP VIP special. We can get you 20% off the subscription price of the print paper. You have that delivered to your door. That's a GMP VIP perk. And I opened it up. I bought it. We were in a cafe, and I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll get the kids some comics, and I'll get myself a newspaper and be very old-fashioned and traditional and sit there like an old-fashioned dad reading the paper, not wanting to be disturbed by the children. I opened up my piece in there. It's a double-page spread with those beautiful photographs from the Berral factory, from the Gisto village Gondomoraj. Is that what it's called? Gondramaj, and Talaginal. Those beautiful villages, the Beran factory, the Oburgo restaurant. It was a delightful double-page spread. Photographed it, sent it to me mum, who congratulated me on that. Folks that gift a grift for a free holiday paid for by a local realtor are not a favourite of Victoria or Carl Hyde. That's so true. We saw that, didn't we? And shrimps. Hold on, I'll come back to that. Because shrimp without heads? I think that's Heather's preference, and I don't think she's alone with that. Good morning, all, from Leslie Smith. Good to see you here again. And Carlitos and Carlinhos are short forms of Carlos, usually used for kids, but also for me. As you can see from this special bottle of Beral here, one of the old ones, I have to say. They're still in the shops. If you want to get the old style bottles, they're still in some of the shops, but that got redone, as we were seeing at the Beral factory. Obrigada, Carlitos, from Philomena there. You see, she calls me that, and I'm not a child. Occasionally I am, and that's how Philomena usually calls Carl Munson. There you go, exactly like that. And wow, doing the meetup in style now, setting the bar, literally, absolutely, Geraldo. Can't wait to see you there and have a cocktail with you one of these days in there. I know you know the storytellers and you love it in there. We're going to return to cheesy potatoes as well. Cheese on most things. Yes, I knew it. Particularly sharp cheddar on apple pie. Oh, yeah. Place in the Sun. It was fun to be on there. That's what by Randy was talking about. And I concede. I think I need Heather. I need Heather to talk about cheese on chips here. So let's bring her on. Nice big round of applause.
Hello.
Hola, bon dia.
Bon dia. Bon dia.
And, yes. Sorry to exclude you from that conversation. You clearly have things to say about cheese on potatoes.
I have a big mouth. I swear. I sit here and I'm like, come on. I'm ready to speak.
I'm ready to speak.
You're talking about Beral Factory, which is awesome. And
yes,
yeah, the whole thing. So, yeah, cheese. Like I don't know. I don't want to say it's American because I don't know that to be true at all. But it seems like a super American thing to put cheese on like anything under the sun. Yeah, although I've never had it on apple pie, but when Bob and Viv said that, I was like, oh, I have heard of that. But that one does seem weird to me.
I like a Portuguese apple with a bit of British cheese. And the key word in there, Heather, was sharp cheddar. I think, yeah, cheese. It's the combination, isn't it? A bit of cheddar with apple is lovely, as in raw apple. And I've not tried it like you. I've not tried it with apple pie. Hoping that when we see Bob and Viv, if they come and stay with us, perhaps they can make apple pie, or we'll get one from Copper and we'll get some cheddar and we'll try that together. Maybe with red wine. I think red wine would go nicely with that as well, wouldn't it? Possibly.
Doesn't wine go with everything?
Well, that's
especially
true.
In Portugal.
As we discovered yesterday, had a very nice white with lunch yesterday. You were there, Heather. What did you make of that lunch yesterday? The first of its kind of the story.
It was delicious. It was really good. I got the mushroom risotto. I thought about the pasta with the shrimp, but I thought, oh, this is a fancy place. These are going to have heads. And then when I saw people next to me, around the table getting it without the heads, I was like, oh, dang it. I would have ordered that. But I didn't want to insult the chef and ask him, sem cabezas?
Well, true. And that, whilst we're on the subject of Americans and food, it can be quite the shock, can't it, for Americans to receive a non-filet of fish, to have the head and the bones in there, I think comes as a bit of a shock. And the same with the shrimps.
Yeah. It's not, it happens some places and, like culturally, like in the South, like catfish or whatever. But I've never had fish like that before until I moved here. And I have managed to do okay with that. Although there's an art to it. And like, I didn't grow up doing that. And so I don't, like we're stupid about that. I don't know. Maybe I'll just speak to myself, but I'm like, what do you do with this? Even the shrimp, I don't like the shrimp because like the black eyes and that whole thing is a little creepy for me.
Yeah. A lot of people say that vegetarians, don't they? Say like, I can't eat anything with a face, or with it's almost.
Well, I mean, I get it. I don't want to talk about that vegetarian like stuff again. I get in trouble, but no, I get it in a lot of ways. But like my fiance says, he's like, I won't eat it if I wouldn't go and like hunt it myself, which I
Yeah,
get
fair enough. No, I
totally,
understand that.
and good for him. But
Yeah.
I would definitely, not eat meat if I had to go hunt it. I can tell you that much.
Well, that's perhaps another course we can do. A lot. There are obvious courses, aren't there? How to move to Portugal, how to open a bank account, how to get your NIF number, how to eat fish with bones in could be another one of those, couldn't it? As a part of the induction here.
Well, we would need Sarah, my counterpart, or Elena. Like we would need my Portuguese friends, because I certainly could do nothing but attempt to follow along. And then it would be kind of funny. It'd be like one of those baking shows where they like bake the elaborate cake, and then they've like people lined up. This is actually a good idea, Carl. And you've got like
Thank
people
you.
like me, like attempting to do it like on video. And then it's just funny, because like then you see what I do to my fish or whatever it is.
Yeah,
And it's not pretty, and it doesn't look anything like the cool cake or whatever it is that the other
yeah.
people made. But that's the fun part.
It does lend itself televisually, certainly, doesn't it? When the Portuguese person is actually picking up the head of the shrimp and saying, "No, no, no, you don't just cast
You
it to one
suck
side.
the
You
head.
suck the juice out of it," and then we zoom into your face that you just did then, and encourage you to do the same, which would be a fantastic 30 seconds of television. Okay, we're on to something there. We're on to something there. And before we move on from the meetup yesterday, the first of its kind of debut at
It
the
was
Storytellers
great.
Palace,
Yes.
do you think we should do it again?
We definitely need to do it again. And I'm in love with the Gatsby bar. And I didn't even have a drink there yet, but it's absolutely beautiful.
Mhm.
Really cool. They're open till 2 a.m., 7 days a week. That blew me
Oh my
away.
goodness.
And so I'm
Yes.
like, okay, so, we love Cabaret Voltaire, but they're
Yeah.
not 7 days. So maybe we need to pick one of the days they're closed, and we need to do another expat thing, because I don't know San Martino well at all. So it's one of my goals to like learn more about San Martino and so forth. And
Yeah.
it was a 25-minute drive from my house to Storyteller, so it's no big deal for
Yeah.
me. Of course, that's the other end of the world for some people.
Well, yeah, and you can stay. I mean, it is a hotel
Yeah.
after
Oh,
all.
gosh, it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely need to go back there and spend a little more time just looking at the architecture, the woodwork, like really, really beautiful. If you like historic and architectural stuff, it's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, that may well be, if anyone wants to make that a provisional date for their diary. I think we're probably looking at the 4th. I was going to say the last Wednesday. That can get confusing, can't it? If you make it the last
Yeah, you
Wednesday.
need to make it like the 4th or whatever it is. Right.
Yeah, people
Exactly.
turn up on the wrong day. So the 4th, I think the 4th Wednesday of the month is likely to be when we'll have our meetup at the Storytellers Palace. And looking forward
Cool.
to doing other things there as well with them, including our filming. The Englishman, the Irishman, and the Portuguese man will be talking. Me and Bobby O'Reilly will be talking to. Well, you chatted with him yesterday, because he gave us a little bit of a presentation about the history of himself and the hotel, didn't he? What an interesting man! Studied
Yeah.
film in London, and grew up. Did he say he grew up in the kitchen or was born in the kitchen because his parents were restaurateurs as well? And he not only owns and runs the hotel, he cooks in the kitchen there as well. And it just sounds like a lovely lifestyle business.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He did. I mean, he did say he grew up in the kitchen. Absolutely. And yeah, he seemed really sweet. And I already chatted with him briefly about the bar, the restaurant, the hotel, the whole thing. So yeah, that was really lovely.
Yeah.
You know what? There were so many people there with like fascinating stories. Like
Yes.
really, there was
Yeah.
just a lot of fascinating, interesting people. So it was really cool. It was really, really nice.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, because I read out, didn't I? People gave me a fact about themselves, and there were people who landed planes in the North Pacific Ocean, people who smuggled a fugitive past a Middle Eastern armed checkpoint. There was somebody who did a house clearance of one of their parents, who happened to be an explosives collector and had a 70-year-old collection of TNT, which they sold online and then had to drive for an hour, sat on. So it was like something from. It's like a Bruce Willis movie of
Yeah.
people sat on explosives, having to drive them for an hour and not go over any bumps. I mean, you're right. I mean, and I think everybody has an interesting story. It's just
True.
it's how much you have to scratch the surface with people, and often a lot of people will say to me, "Oh, I'm really boring." And in fact, a couple did say, "Oh, we're really boring. There's nothing to say about us. We're from Perth." And I was thinking, is that Australia? Is that Scotland? What is life like there? And them telling me they're boring is interesting when they put it like that. How can they possibly describe themselves as that, being from a remote part of Australia or Scotland? They must have an interesting story to tell. And the room was full of people like that yesterday. So
Yeah.
yeah, and in fact, isn't it funny? It's called the Storytellers. And there were many personal stories to tell as we discovered. Each room at the Storytellers has its own literary theme, really fascinating. And you were the one
Uh-huh.
with your 175-pound tortoise. Could you tell us a
Yes.
little bit more about that this morning, Heather?
Yeah. So I befriended this lady. I was half her age. So I was like 42 and a half or something. Anyways, she was about 85. And um, I met her because my friends were looking at like an RV or something she had for sale. And I walk into her house and she's got like a parrots and she's got a couple dogs and she's got this giant tortoise outside and this African spurred sulcata, which is the largest, second largest land tortoise. And the I just she was just like so independent and so like crafty and interesting, and I don't know, and she just reminded me of like me, but like, you know, twice as old. And so she befriended me, and I would go see her and help her because she was having a harder time taking care of the pets as she was getting older and things like that. And so I was helping her. I brought a bird groomer friend of mine in that would groom the birds because they really needed it.
Hold on
She
a
was
minute.
just, yeah.
What if you have pet parrots, or they need grooming? Do they? Didn't
Yeah,
realize.
she had one that had an overgrown underbeak, and so this bird could barely eat actually. And so when I very first met her, it was kind of like an emergency thing like that. And so like his that's right, he was like how do I? It was like his lower jaw, if you will, was like offset from his upper jaw. You know what I mean? Like if he had a jaw, or if his beak was a jaw.
Yeah. Okay.
Opening,
Yes.
closing.
Yes.
Anyways,
When is a beak not a beak? When it's a jaw, a jar, a jaw. Yes. Okay.
he's an
Right.
African gray Congo like mine, and anyway, so I just started to go see her, and I started to bring her. Then a younger neighbor people would bring her dog food, and I would bring her bird food, and I would bring the birds toys because she was like, the birds are chewing up their stuff in their cage like they weren't supposed to be, and it's like, okay, that's what parrots do. Like that's like saying a dog plays with a ball, like normal. So, anyways, she started falling ill, and there was this giant tortoise in the backyard, and it turned into a whole big thing with police and everything because somebody was trying to steal the tortoise. Anyways, I end up with this 175-pound tortoise and nowhere for it to go. And in Arizona, there's a huge overpopulation of African spurred sulcatas, not necessarily just in Arizona. In fact, it's the Herpetological Society actually has to cull them sometimes because of disease and stuff. Because
Hold
there's
on.
so
Sorry.
many.
Sorry to keep interrupting here, but the what
No, we're
society?
not interrupting. What's that?
What's the what society? Herpetological.
Herpetological Society. Yeah. So like herps, like snakes, um,
Right, okay.
beardies, lizards, tortoises. Those are herps. I don't know. Somebody else knows more about that than me.
No, I
But
didn't know. I didn't know that. Okay. All right.
yeah, no, my avian and exotic vet was telling me about that because he would go and
Of
treat
course.
them. What's
Yes.
that?
Of course. Your exotic vet.
Well, I actually had that's how I know that Goliath was 175 pounds because I had my doctor, Dr. Driggers in Arizona, who's amazing. I had him come and to my house and do the visit to check the tortoise at my house because, well, Goliath's 175 pounds. So it was an ordeal just to get him to my house. And then we didn't want to like take him to the vet. So anyways, he came over and he actually weighed the tortoise and checked him out and all of that. So needless to say, he was telling me about the overpopulation and so forth. And
You can't just do the thing pet owners normally do, which is to stand on the scales, then stand on the scales with their pet and subtract their own weight. You can't do that with a 175-pound tortoise, can you?
175-pound tortoise. I think I sent you a picture of him.
Yes.
He's like large, you know. So technically, I did see a guy like pick him up, but that was dangerous and insane, and not something I could do. We would put a really thick beach towel down on the ground, and then move him into the center of it, and then get like 3 or 4 people, so everyone was like at a corner, and lift. And that way, we only had to lift him off the ground like a few inches to be able to move him, and we shared the weight. And that was a really actually brilliant idea that I came up with somehow to move him.
My good. Can I show the picture of him?
Yeah, he's beautiful. Mhm.
He is beautiful, isn't he? And what you might ask, has a giant tortoise in Arizona got to do with Portugal? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
But it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. Here he is, Goliath, everybody. Now,
Yes.
you can't necessarily get a sense of scale from this. Maybe from the hose pipe in the
Yeah, I was
background.
gonna say there's a hose, and these are hibiscus flowers, which
Yes.
are actually large flowers, right?
Yes, they're
So yeah, you can get a little bit of sense, but that's true. I probably have others that give a better sense of scale. But yeah, he's a big boy.
beautiful.
He
Look at his
was
frilly shell. His frilly shell is so beautiful, isn't it?
frilly.
He's frilly
Yes.
at the front. He's a mutant ninja. He's just like fantastic.
Ninja Turtle. He lets you pet his head and scratch his neck, and he's
Really?
actually overly friendly. I think I told you that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want. I mean, people were eating, so I didn't want to make too much of that when you said it yesterday. But when you
Well,
said,
it
"Oh,
wasn't
is he
wasn't
amorous?"
like that overly. No,
Oh,
he
okay.
just like, yeah, like he was just friendly, and he's drawn to like neon and bright colors. And my
Really?
friend came over, and she had like tennis shoes on that had like neon in them, and she
Yeah.
literally had to like run away from him and get on on the slider
Well,
in the backyard and put her feet up, because he was like,
how fast can he
was
move?
just chasing her. I mean, not that fast, but if they want to, they can,
Break into a run.
they can I would run, not so much maybe, but
A shuffle.
they can find you. He lived in the backyard, which, by the way, is not appropriate for an African spurred sulcata
Okay.
to just live in your backyard. When they're small, people do that. But this guy would dig under the barbecue, would move furniture, would get stuff stuck to him, would like all sorts of craziness. In
Yes.
fact, I had a different African spurred sulcata rip the hose bib, the outside faucet, whatever you call it, tap, rip it off a house of mine and cause like a plumbing emergency.
Oh my goodness. Right. Okay.
Sorry, it
Well,
went down the
well,
rabbit hole.
I feel like I've learned a lot about tortoises this morning, and I hope everyone, whilst they probably were not expecting to learn a lot about tortoises, like me, may feel better for it this morning. Smash that like button, everybody. In fact, a tortoise could probably smash the like button, given what you said about this species there and your experience of them. And I've got into, I think, quite a bad habit, Heather, of introducing you as something of an expert on exotic creatures and moving them to Portugal from the United States. You do
No
that
expert.
from a personal, but you've got personal experience with this, which is of course
Yes.
part of your vast experience, as it turns out. You've packed a lot in a short space of time, and you are boots on the ground Portugal. And that is just one part of your personal experience, this moving of animals and pets with special needs to Portugal. And you are the Supremo at Boots on the Ground Portugal, where you're helping people move to Portugal. And you were telling me yesterday, you get a lot of people asking you for help. What are the themes? What are the current themes at the moment? And what sort of help are you giving people?
You know what the current theme is. Come on.
Yeah.
One guess. One guess.
So exactly how many calls have you had about the NHR? Is that
well, my calendar booked up, and they really are a lot of Good Morning Portugal folks. So hi there, people. Hello.
Good morning.
And there's just everybody, inquiring about NHR and blah, 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 blah. And is it too late and all this kind of stuff. And so it's been a lot of that, which is totally understandable. And of course, we still know nothing, which, really, we're trying to know things. And there's a tax professionals out there like saying they know things and so forth. And hopefully, they can do some magic. So we'll see. I actually have a call with a client that lives in Dubai currently. He's South African, also has a UK passport and is in Dubai. And he's trying to get here. And I have a call with him this afternoon with the tax professional online. That's actually who the call is with. So I'm sitting in on that. So that'll be interesting. We'll see what I can glean off of that for my other clients and so forth. But I don't give that advice myself directly because I'm not a professional pet shipper, not a professional accountant or tax person. And I am an Arizona real estate broker that's active. So I'm an expert in that. And I did real estate here for half a second. So I know about real estate here, definitely not an expert. And but I know some great people, and some of which I got to meet in person yesterday, which was fun. So yeah, I definitely, my business is very much from experience, and like you said, I've managed to pack an insane amount of extreme experiences in a very short period of time. And I would really like to be boring and stop with this extreme experiences for a long time.
Yes. Yeah.
Bring on boring.
I can't see it happening. I mean, just thinking back yesterday to a conversation I overheard, and you telling somebody you lived in the house of the gnomes. It's like it's not ever going to be boring, your life, is it? Casa dos Gnomos on the outskirts of Caldas where people can stay as well, and that's another service you provide. And I suspect often with these things, you don't know, do you, what people want? You have an idea of what services they might like, and then they meet you online or they hear about you and think, well, actually, what I would like is to stay in the Airbnb at Heather's and chat with her over dinner, or take her out for dinner or lunch and talk about life in Portugal. And it's quite hard to make that a product, but that often is what people want sometimes, I think, isn't it? These kind of personal experiences on a one-to-one basis.
I actually have a gentleman downstairs. Well, he's in Spain right now, but he's been staying with me for a while, a little bit now. And that's exactly what he heard about me, I think, from Good Morning Portugal, actually. And Canadian fellow, really nice guy. Well, he's actually American by way of Canada. And let's see, I'm sending you, Carl, the brochure for Casa dos Gnomos, since you're
Thank you.
pimping it for me, which is awesome. There you go. So
okay, I'm very happy to do so.
Okay, if you can pimp that, that's good. So it's an Airbnb, and 10 minutes outside of Caldas da Rainha, country home. So if you want that experience, and then absolutely, we totally hang out. Mark actually was at my birthday dinner at Flavors of India, amazing, and really, really good guy. So you do definitely get some private experience with me, and also just a tour of the house, which I think is helpful because I did a very large, extensive remodel, and I've learned a lot about houses issues and how they work, and latent issues like hidden issues that you're going to have if you buy a property. So it's been, again, experience.
This is what I'm talking about. You have had such a rich experience of life here in Portugal in a short space of time, and I think and I appreciate it. You're being very careful to make that clear. You can't be a professional. You can't move to Portugal as a profession, can you? But you can have a lot of experience having done so from a culture where other people are moving, and that insight is extremely valuable to those people.
It really is, because the perspective is so different, and that's one of the things. Even when it comes to looking at an apartment or something for somebody, I say, if you're from America, have an American do that, because if you're not able to do it yourself, of course, sometimes there's wires hanging from ceilings instead of, light fixtures. Sometimes there's no water heater in a rental. And these are not things that Americans have any idea to look out for. unless they've,
Why would they?
are
Why
hearing
would
this. Why would they? They don't understand that a dryer has like this weird drawer and whatever, but nobody understands that. I still baffle
You've
people
done
with
that.
that.
You've done that. I think one of your earlier appearances, you
I
actually
did. I
cleaned,
brought the drawer.
and did you not clean out your lint live on air? I think.
No, I didn't do that. I
you
didn't
think.
do
Thank you
that.
for stopping
But I did.
short.
I brought that weird filter thing, and yeah, I'm sure there's more I have yet to experience. But these are things that are important. And if you're from even UK probably and other places in the world, they're normal, or you grew up with it, so you don't think of it as something to be aware of or point out. You just think of it as normal.
Exactly.
And so
Yeah.
that's and honestly, I think that's kind of a huge thing that I do, is help expectations meet reality overall. And then of course just coach you. I've also find that I'm kind of a very supportive coach in a way, but again, not an official coach, to help people move and just give that emotional support, because people need a huge amount of everything when you're going through this, but definitely emotional support.
Yep, absolutely brilliant. Okay, you said something then I want to ask you about. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
flavors of India. Look, I want to come back to talking about flavors of India. If you could give us a review of that, well, that'll make a nice little segment from the show, because I've yet
sure.
to go there, and I suspect I will be going
You
there with
have yet
you.
to go there? Are you kidding
It's
me?
ridiculous.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
ridiculous. But
Okay.
I think we've got some cheese and apple pie business to clear up here this morning.
Oh, okay.
And this does connect with what you've just been saying. You have certain expectations in life, like apple pie and custard, and then someone comes along like Bob, who says, eat it with cheese, and it just completely upset Owen, I think, this morning. So, yeah, exactly. Apple pie without some cheese is like a kiss without a squeeze. You see,
Bob,
it's
awesome.
even a
I
little.
need to see Bob and Viv. Yeah.
I I,
Uh,
I prefer whipped cream or vanilla ice cream in my apple pie.
I'm
Who
with
knew
you.
that this would be such a rich seam of conversation this morning?
Who knew?
Cheese with either of those two accessories do not work. Okay.
Yeah, cheese. I'm the apple pie. I love melted ice cream. So like you put it on the warm apple pie, and that's the whole jam. So that's good.
Okay. Well,
But you want me to talk about flavor of India?
no, not yet. No, because we haven't
Not
finished on
yet.
cheese.
Okay.
We haven't finished
You
on
tell
cheese.
me when.
I will. I know you're keen to, because you're a
Well,
big fan.
no, it's my ADHD thing. Like I'm gonna lose
No,
it
I
if
won't.
somebody doesn't hold
Let's
it.
see.
So.
Let's see if the pair of us can focus just a little bit and come back to the thing we said we talk about.
Well, yes.
Good luck with that. I concede that it's done, but count me with the ick crowd for the cheese on fries or chips. I'm in Arkansas. I wonder if that's the thing there. Then let's find out from Mr. S as the show proceeds. Cheese? Lord Gilchrist. Remember him? He's here
Oh.
this morning. He's British. So he's going to be an apple pie and custard and cauliflower and broccoli cheese. Did you just wince at that, Heather?
Okay, so I was, this is Heather. This is just Heather. So I was
Yeah.
force fed broccoli by a babysitter as a child, and I literally have an aversion to broccoli. Like the smell of cooking broccoli, I can lose. Like that makes me want to lose it. It's not good. And I know they look like little trees and they're super healthy and like the whole nine. And yes, I eat asparagus and like all sorts of other green vegetables. But I can't do broccoli, even covered in amazing stuff like cheese and whatever.
Well, I'm imagining, a kind of scene, and maybe from the same TV show that we're talking about earlier on, where you get presented with a complete fish with its head on, with a cheesy broccoli side with it, and
Oh my
you
gosh.
got the Hitchcock muse stabs in the background as it's brought.
I do
and your
love Hitchcock. Yeah.
memories are evoked of that force. Well, yes, the force feeding broccoli moment. Deep fried cheese is done in the US. I'm sure it is.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if you ever help people with this, but finding sharp cheddar here has proven difficult. So that's one for the resource pack, isn't it? For the foreigners arriving here, where to buy a decent cheese. I think we've got the recommendation here. Oh, look, I
Yeah,
found.
Kevin saw one. Where grocery store?
Yeah, Intermarché, Aldi have it, and I think Lidl on occasion have the one they call. It's
Oh,
made to look like it's Winchester Cathedral cheddar cheese or something like that. The marketing is quite clever. It looks like it could have even been made not in China but in UK.
Definitely check Aldi, because it was Aldi, I think. He found this stuff that
That's the
was
one.
from Europe somewhere, like UK or like, I don't know. It
Yeah.
wasn't American, but it looked like sharp cheddar, and he seemed to say that it was. So there
Excellent.
you
I've
go.
got a cup of
Lidl
coffee.
do a half decent vintage cheddar. There we
There
go.
you go. This is a lifeline this morning. So thank you everybody for your help on this and coming to the aid of those distressed about not being able to find vintage cheddar cheese here in Portugal. I don't do come around with eyes either. I'd love to hear Doug asking the waiter about that. I mean, does your shrimps come with a head and eyes? Doug, thank you very much for your correspondence. Prompted by Bobby's experience, it was Bobby very candidly shared his experience of the health system from a very personal point of view yesterday. Dougie's been in touch. I thought it was poignant to share this. It was going through my mind to do so when I was listening to Doc Thompson and his take on the Portuguese healthcare system yesterday. No doubt Bobby as well. I just spent a week in Madrid, Toledo, in 47-degree heat. That's centigrade.
Wow.
And it started feeling unwell on my drive down to Sevilla. So that's a great start to a story, isn't it? I had just spent, this is like a diary entry, isn't it? I had just spent a week in Madrid, Toledo, in 47-degree heat, and had started feeling unwell on my drive down to Sevilla. My old pal George took me straight to the Centro de Saúde in Sagres. 2 hours later, I was in Portimao Hospital on a drip, not with Portuguese.
Wow.
Not with Portuguese wine in it, I hasten to add, but with saline, no doubt. I spent 5 days there before it being referred to not the rental specialist. That's the rental specialist is Veronica. On this occasion, it was the renal specialist in VRSA. My private travel insurance, I pay annually for multi-trips, sorted the private hospital arrangements along with the team at Portimao Hospital. It was very well done. I didn't feel I was just a number. So thank you for that. Thank you
Wow.
for sharing that with us, Doug, as well. So
So
yeah, that's annual multi-trip insurance. What you got there, Heather?
that's 116.6 degrees, 47.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
That's
That's
Arizona. That's like I was 117 the day I moved here.
he obviously got dehydrated, and he may
And
have thought it was something else. Now the problem with dehydration, of course, is that your faculties are hindered, aren't they? So you can't really be self-conscious enough to do something very simple, which is to rehydrate. You start thinking it's other things, and you might flake out a little bit. Like my friend who was on a cruise once. I think he was on a Caribbean cruise. And he was enjoying himself. Damien, good morning to you, my best man at my wedding. What a lovely fella, a dear friend, Damien. And one of his hilarious stories, one of many, is that he was on a Caribbean cruise and he was enjoying himself. I think he's had a few cocktails, which is a recipe for dehydration, let's face it. And he also had the early symptoms of multiple sclerosis, MS.
Oh,
So there he was, somewhat drunken and dehydrated. And this is the problem I'm talking about. After a while, he was unable to move, apart from his eyes, I think. So he must have looked like a prawn. He is a redhead, so he would have gone quite red and prawn-like, sat on the sun lounger of this cruise ship. And I think, as I recall him telling the story, he was only able to move his eyes, swivel his eyes a little bit to try and summon up help from passers-by. And
wow.
maybe just sort of occasionally go, help, help, like you see in the
Wow.
movie. Now, on a busy cruise ship, children are playing in the pool. The ocean liner is, there's a lot of noise on there, and they're not seeing his eyes swiveling, beckoning for help, or or to hear his little whispers of distress. And eventually, he was spotted, probably towards the end of the day when everyone was going in for dinner or whatever. There he was to put their dinner jackets on. There he was, still, red and swollen and dehydrated on his little recliner there, and he got there to go and see the ship's matron, and he was put on a drip, and I think he was given thousands of dollars of medical bills, and he liked to live life fast and
wow.
blue. Didn't have any insurance. I don't know how the story ended up, but suffice to say,
He survived, so that's
survived
good.
the best man at my wedding. Yeah, he survived of skiing. He fell down a crevasse when he was a teenager. He's quite the international man of adventure.
This guy should go nowhere, apparently.
God love you.
Heat exhaustion, though, is what he was having, or heat stroke.
He was having heat exhaustion, and
Heat
it
stroke
was
is super dangerous.
compounding itself. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It compounds itself. Like Dougie, he's driving in the car in 47
Yeah.
degrees, and
Yeah.
not doing the obvious thing and just thinking he's becoming ill with something else, probably a bad prawn with eyes, maybe in Spain. And so it's very important. Just a key message there. A health message to stay hydrated based on Douglas's and Damien's experience. While we're on the subject of welfare, Heather, here's an animal welfare a bit of advice as well. Oh, here it is. Thank you to Bruce Joffrey for this one. Reminder, as cold weather sets in, animals are attracted to the warmth of your vehicle. Always check your car before driving. Here in Portugal, there could be an entire cow on your hood, I think you call it.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so be very careful. Could be a tortoise, although tortoise maybe in colder climes as well. Old Goliath might have jumped up onto your hood there. So be very mindful of animals seeking warmth on vehicles at this time of year. Where were we? Dehydration, shrimps with eyes. Flavors of India.
There we go.
Please let me take off the prawn with eyes comment, because that doesn't blend especially well with what we're about to talk about. There is a remarkable mom and pop type Indian restaurant, isn't there, in Kaldashtaranya? Tell us about it, if you will, please, Heather.
Yes. So Anila and Vikram are the owners of Flavor of India, and they're fabulous, and their wonderful daughter, Saisha. Yay, I remembered how to say her name right. And she makes great drinks. And you can't give Vikram any credit because he doesn't even like Indian food. Don't ask. But
What to ask?
Anila is amazing. And these are all Indian people. And the daughter and Vikram, they won't eat her food, which is insane. But the good news is,
all their life, haven't they? They've been eating. I mean, to them, it's just what gets cooked at home, right? But to you,
it's fabulous, and it's just a different experience. And I just love a restaurant where the cook hugs you and tells you she loves you, and you're not sure why, but she's amazing, and you're really happy to hear it. And closed on Wednesdays. I didn't realize that. Okay, good. That might be new, Sarah, but thanks for that. And this is also really fun because I'm seeing Sarah, I'm seeing Joy, like people I've literally met in real life, helped, friends with, been to my house. So that's fun. Hi, there she is. Anyways, so Flavor of India is really special. And it's different. It's different than the go in, get a menu, order from the menu kind of experience. Your best bet is to just go in and, let Anila feed you amazing food. And Rose ice cream, which is the best ice cream I've ever had in my life. They don't always have it. Rose ice cream.
Essence of rose. Wow.
So good. And then spinach cake, which is insane. In fact, I went there once, and her landlord had given her like a whole bunch of spinach. And she was like, what am I going to do with all the spinach? I have to use this spinach. Yep. And so she created this spinach starter, which is delicious. And they serve it regularly now. It's fabulous. And then they had saag paneer, palak paneer, which is
one cheese again.
Cheese. Yes. That is one of my absolute favorite Indian dishes is saag paneer, palak paneer.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah. It's like a spinach, but with this homemade cheese, and it doesn't sound yummy, but it doesn't even look yummy, but it's ridiculous. It's super good. And then she also made spinach cake, and it's fabulous. So like, I can't even describe, I don't even know where she came from, but she works so hard, and she's so sweet, and they're the nicest people. They all work so hard, and really, they're just fabulous. And they're just up a little hill from La Vie and from the park, and absolutely go there, make reservations. And it was really special. And I got to have my 51st birthday, October 2nd. Little did I know it was like D-Day with the whole NHR crap. But it was my birthday. It was a really special birthday this year.
It was, wasn't it? Clearly.
October has been a complete and utter, I can't say it on your show, but
why don't we call it, I don't think anyone's done this yet, Heather. Should we call it NH-Armageddon?
NH-Armageddon. That's good. Yes. That's good. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So stick to Flavors of India, great gin and tonics, great everything. And there you go. I'm a 5-star review definitely for flavor of India. Yeah, beautiful.
It's
There's
so
Anila.
lovely. It is so
Yeah.
beautiful. It looks beautiful. Clearly, it tastes beautiful. And what I picked up on there is you get to eat what's seasonal and what she can lay her hands on. And is that how it works? You have to eat what's been cooked that day. It's not on, one of these
Well, no, she
meat freezes kind of stuff.
she has a menu,
Right.
but it's I found that if you put your faith in Anila, you will have things you maybe wouldn't have ordered, but they're delightful and delicious. Like that's a cauliflower, that thing you just had. And
Yeah.
I don't even like cauliflower, and like it's delicious. You know what I mean?
I can't believe I haven't been there. This is ridiculous. I haven't. This looks beautiful.
That is okay. Go back to that picture. That's the spinach starter with the cheese at the top. See, it has cheese on it.
What the one that we're looking at there?
No, like the one before or one back, I think. Yeah. So in the green dish.
Yes.
Yeah, that one in the green dish up. That
Yes.
is the spinach starters. Really, really, really good. So
Okay. Now I wanted the reason I was dwelling on this one.
yeah,
We're on TripAdvisor. Thank you everybody who put this
samosas.
TripAdvisor review together, because there's some lovely photos here. That is a really good interpretation of the Portuguese classic of the terracotta with the aguardente in it that flames around your chorizo. And who doesn't like to have flames around their chorizo from time to time?
Ah, right. Okay.
But she's singeing her bargies in that, I think, isn't she, so to speak?
I have no idea, but everything she does Southern Indian.
Right.
And it's flavorful. It's not hot. That's another thing. It's got beautiful spice to it, but it's not your traditional, like, I want it spicy. Now they serve peppers on the side so you can make it spicy or whatnot. But that's good to know, because a lot of people that are sensitive to spice just automatically think that they hate Indian food or something like that.
Yeah, right. Well, this is an education. This is an education, isn't it?
Yeah. There's Sarah saying she hasn't done Flavors of India. So that sounds like a thing. Maybe we can get you and Mrs. M.
What a great idea! Is that the rose ice cream there?
Yes, that's a rose ice cream. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Yeah, but Sarah and Daniel would be great. Oh, you're making me hungry. Yeah,
me too. I shouldn't have. I always do this.
Chicken.
I start talking about food and then wish I hadn't, because it's making me so blooming hungry here. Sagaloo, says by hand.
Okay. Yeah, that makes me
curry. Who knew this morning that we would be turning down into the roads of cheese and curry here?
When you talk to me, you never know where it's going to go, because I never know where it's going to go. So there you go.
But well done us. Well done us for remembering what we were going to talk about and not moving on into loads of other subjects. Awaiting our invite, says Sarah. So that could also be a bit of a gumper outing, couldn't it? I think.
I was just going to say, Carl, we could easily. I filled up her restaurant for my birthday, so I mean, we can easily fill up the whole restaurant with people out there that we know and whatnot. And it's a fabulous place. And if you come and stay with me, we'll even give you a ride down there.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Now, should I use the electronic tennis racket to get that fly that's on my forehead? Do we want to see this?
Absolutely. Look, Carl.
What is mine says YPD, and I'm thinking this is official NYPD issue with the end.
Yeah. How'd you get one that says cool stuff?
I don't know, but this fly is really annoying me now. It's the time of year.
These are terrible for flies, but they're good for moths. And I had a little moth infestation recently.
You seriously? Okay, I guess they probably smell a little bit different to the singed blue bottle, which I'm hoping to have happening here. Oh, it's okay. Bear with just a moment. If we had there's two. I can't. Sorry, it's
if you can get them with that thing, I will be impressed, because they're
okay. That's a chat game on, right? I'm gonna do that. You challenged me in this way. All right. We've got an important question here, which I don't want to confuse with me assassinating flies in the studio live on the Good Morning Portugal show. Becky, good morning to you. You've got a couple of questions for us this morning. The first of which was, can you say when and where your Wednesday meetups are, please? Both Heather and I have meetups. Mine is in San Martino de Porto on a Wednesday lunchtime. Ordinarily, it's at the lovely, hospitable and warm and friendly Palmeira Cafe every Wednesday. And now I think on the fourth Wednesday of each month, we are at the Storytellers Palace for something a little bit different and a little bit special. Over to you, Heather, your week, your meetup.
Yeah, so I just started organizing with Natasha from Cabaret Voltaire. Cabaret Voltaire is an awesome cocktail lounge in Caldish downtown. Amazing people owned by Paulo and Natasha. Paulo is local Portuguese. Natasha is Jamaican by way of London. So she has an absolutely fabulous accent and she's super cool. And, anyways, they're excellent hosts at Cabaret Voltaire. And we do the expat meetup there on the third Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. plus every month. So there you go. And I'm not sure if we'll be adjusted for things for, November, but hopefully not. So we'll be able to hopefully keep on track. But that's really been fun. And we've had great turnout. And this last time we all went out for sushi to Mishi Mishi around the corner after. And that was fun with a bunch of new people. And so it was really nice, and some travelers. So we get a lot of people that are scouting or visiting as well. And that's also really cool. And of course, local Portuguese are more than welcome because we love our Portuguese friends.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. And Nunu at the meetup yesterday, it was a slightly awkward moment because he said, "I'm looking around the room here, and I think I'm the only Portuguese person here, as in among the guests, of course." And I sort of made comic material of it, only to hide my slight embarrassment. Really, I mean, does anyone want to have a selfie with the truly Portuguese person here? And he really liked the fact. I checked in with him, and he loves not an odd or a strange experience, but a challenging and different experience. And he really enjoyed that fact, rather than feeling in any way awkward about it. But yeah, I think it's very important, isn't it, with the meetups to encourage and invite Portuguese friends along as well, because that's a vital part of what the meetups can and should be, in my view. So there you go, Becky. That's that part of the conversation. Those are our meetups. And if anyone else is organising one, do let us know. We're always very happy to share details about meetups across the country. And hi to Heather from Becky. You continue here, Becky. I would love to meet up for a chat and maybe stay a night to ask your help on a few things, please. I'm a 54-year-old single lady, also with ADHD, making my plans to. I'd love to be on that conversation. I'm not invited, I don't think. Making my plans to move to Portugal. How can I contact you? Many thanks. So can Becky avail herself of your services?
Yeah. So Becky, you can go to our website and you can book a discovery call, which is a free half-hour chat that I give to anybody who wants it. And yeah, we can chat from there. So, and the website is Carl, I think you can put it up, right?
Certainly will.
It's bootsonthegroundpt.com.
Yeah.
So
okay.
bootsonthegroundpt.com. And yeah, you can get on my calendar and just book that yourself. So absolutely. It's always fun to talk to people. But just to be clear, the Airbnb and like my services are technically completely separate. So yeah, but you get some bonus if you stay at the Airbnb. You get some Heather bonus because you're literally like downstairs. So I can't avoid you if I wanted to easily. I mean, technically I can. It's separated, but
yes,
I have a big mouth.
Just as you're walking to your car, Heather. Okay, just one thing.
You missed the www with the HTTPS. You're either going to leave that off or you're going to put that in.
No, that's exactly as I've cut and pasted it. That will get you through.
Really? Without a W?
You know what?
Really?
I'm going to test
it because I don't think it will.
Okay, all right. So, what's it worth? A rose ice cream? If I'm right here.
I did used to work at GoDaddy during the recession when no one wanted a real estate broker in Arizona. So let's test it.
I just did. In that bet I just made up with you. You owe me a rose ice cream.
Oh, yes. Man. Well, you know what? You know what it is? It's because we have done the magic on the backside of forwarding the domain.
Who doesn't like magic on the backside first thing in the morning? Thank you for that, Heather. Okay, all right.
It works. Yay. Okay.
You also said sushi mishi mishi. Now, I don't know what that is. Is that a dish or is that the name of an establishment?
No, Mishi Mishi is a fabulous also restaurant in town owned by some people I'm learning to talk to because they don't speak any English and my Portuguese is poco. So working on that. But yeah, Mishi Mishi is right by the bus station as well, just central, right by Montepio. And it's a all-you-can-eat sushi, and they also have some Chinese dishes, but it's not a buffet. So you order off a menu, but it's all you can eat. So you can order more. So, and it's the other trick to it is that they're little portions. So if you get like sweet and sour chicken, let's say, it's going to be like 3 bites, like it's a small portion. So you might need to get like 3 of those. So you just put 3, -3, and then you'll get like
Yes.
a bigger serving. But what's nice is because it comes small, it's almost like tapas. You can just like get so many different things. And it's funny because my fiance, Kevin, he only gets like 2 things, like usually even just 1. He'll just get like, just salmon, and it's hilarious because I get like 80 things, of course, but that's a perfect example of our differences in our personality.
Yeah, and on that note, I want to ask you about this because I went to a restaurant we were coming back from Lisbon, and we took the lesser known route back to the Silver Coast, which is always great fun. I can't remember which town we're in now, maybe Torres Novas or somewhere like that. And we went into one of these sort of Pan-Asian type restaurants, the kind of which you seem to be speaking about, where it's not just sushi. There's other, maybe Chinese food in there and other Asian dishes. We were given and I wanted to look at a menu and order something. And a bit like Kevin, I wanted a meal, and to be all complete. And we were given a piece of paper and a pen. And I think it might have even been QR code. And I'm really not a big fan of that. I'm sure it will happen over
Yeah.
time. And you had to look at the numbers and you had to order it. And with Mishi Mishi, is it like this, where at the
Yeah.
beginning it's like, it's really great to see you. Would you like to order? Here's the pen and paper. And then by the 15th time they're coming to your table and you've written another number on a piece of paper, it goes from like, oh yeah, this is how it works here. Yes, please give me your order. Just have a look. And then, 15th time, 27th time, when you're ordering 3 more pakora or something like that, it's like, really? You're going to eat more? I know it says all you can eat, but like, do you really have to be here for 5 hours ordering 300 things on the menu? Is it a bit like that?
First of all, order as much as you think you want at the front end, okay? Because it can just take time in between because they, the way that they serve and stuff. But no, they give you no attitude. They're super nice.
Okay.
When we first went there, they were like, polite, but not like friendly. But then like we kept coming back and we kept coming back. We kept coming back because we kind of eat sushi like that. And then they were like, oh, you people live here and you actually are locals, to us here. And so they warm up and they're really, really nice. And the cool thing is you don't need reservations. Typically you can get in, they're open till fairly late. And they have a lot of extended hours. So they're kind of great like that. And then the value is great because it's like, I think 15 euro and it's like all you can eat sushi. So you get amazing, I love salmon, sashimi, butterfish, like robalo, all the stuff. And they have cooked rolls and stuff too for those that don't like sashimi and such. But it's really delicious. And yeah, that's it. That's all I can say.
I love how you say robalo, by the way.
Oh, how do you say it? How do you say it? Because I don't actually.
Without wanting to sound like a bit of an a-hole, well, actually, it's robalo.
Robalo. No, and that's not an a-hole thing at all. I always correct people when they say, someone said Kashkaish to me last night. Really messed up. I forget what she said. I say Kashkaish.
Right.
But say it again. How do you say it again?
Robalo.
Robalo. Okay.
Robalo.
Robalo.
I used to have a problem with gasolio and gasoleo because I love to be every time I was putting gas in my car, I'd be standing it and I'd be at my car singing gasoleo, 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 let me go.
It's funny. I always think of my mother because the gasoleo ends in the word Leo, Leo. And my mom was a Leo. So that's how I remember it because my car is diesel. So I need gasoleo, not gasolina. So, and that's a good tip for travelers because if you rent a car that's diesel or not diesel, you need to know which one is which. So Leo, the lion is diesel. There you go.
Thank you so much. Now we've seeded quite a lot of ideas today. One is that Mrs. M would like some sushi. She'll be along
Sushi
with the Barefoot
today.
podcast in just a moment.
Oh my
And now, when people stand filling up their car with gas, they're going to be thinking about you
Me and
your
my mom.
and me
Yeah.
singing a Bohemian Rhapsody at the petrol station.
That's true. I mean,
You're
that's a
welcome.
better thing, you know, but gasolio. That's good. That's a good one. That's
it's-
kind of maybe more memorable and fun.
If your mother's name is Lena, then you can remember it with gasolina. Okay, all right.
It's Lina, so it would have to be Lena with an I. But
Yeah,
yes.
Doug. At the Asian buffet restaurants in Aveiro, if it's your birthday, you get your meal for free. What?
Ooh.
And Bairandi is the man famous, I think, in Aveiro for having 12 birthdays. That's just in 1 month. as well.
Right.
Yeah, there's a picture of him.
Aveiro.
There's a picture of him on the cash register. Do not believe this man when he says it's your birthday. Robalo. There you go. Robalo.
Robalo. Thank you.
you
I'm
very
so
much.
good with phonetics. Phonetics with syllable, like, oh, that works so well. Robalo.
The accents are your friend, as Slug will tell us again on Monday. We have a similar type place in Vienna called Koi House. Well, there's no need to carp on about it, John. See what they do.
There you
fantastic
go.
place for sunsets. The dad jokes are coming. They're coming.
I gotta laugh. I gotta laugh because
We'll
I
see.
got the tickets to, and I'm gonna say it probably wrong. The Gulbenkian, is that right? The museum, the opera, and the orchestra that I went to. What's
Oh
that?
yes, of course, yes. How was it?
Okay, it was really lovely.
Right, but
Okay, this is terrible, but like it's my thing, so it's totally not my fault. But like I was totally falling asleep. But it's
in a
because
classical performance, it does happen. Now you did.
well, no, it wasn't the class. It's the opera part of it because it was opera, but it wasn't active. Like they weren't moving around the stage. They weren't like, they came out and would sing, and then the orchestra was behind them. And it was also all in, Italian and Portuguese or French and Portuguese. I don't even know, but it was nothing I could comprehend whatsoever, pretty much. And but it's really me because I have like a
I understand.
excessive sleepiness and I fall asleep in cars, and there's just certain things that totally I fall asleep.
Sympathize with that, and I totally get that. Going to the Gulbenkian and seeing the orchestra and the choir is an amazing experience, absolutely beautiful. And then an hour into it, and you can't understand what's going on in the language. It's like you're trying to stay awake. It's like matchsticks, and other people, the old folks there, I guess, as well, just sort of dropping off a little bit.
Yes, Kevin was saying that.
The heads go like that, and then suddenly the band will come in, won't it, with some big cymbals and the drum, and it's like everyone in the audience goes, what? Where am I? Have I had my medication? Yeah.
If it was like a Vivaldi, like pieces that I knew, and like you said, like cymbals and up and down, then I would have been a little more engaged with it. And that's what I need, is kind of an engagement. But it was lovely. It was very relaxing, apparently. And the seats were very comfortable, and they're that velvet fuzzy, which I really like. And beautiful seats, and it was quite fun. So I appreciate winning those tickets on the what do you call that?
Well, on our GMP VIP. We got to go, Heather. I'm gonna have Mrs. M bring you down the neck. At the gas station, you can also sing Galileo. Right, everybody knows what to do when they're filling up now. And we're going to go to those last few dad jokes for you. I meant to behave, says T-Duck here, but there were too many better options. That works for us, doesn't it? Very good. That's just the truth. It's not a dad joke. I never find it difficult to meet expenses. They're everywhere. Very good.
That one's true.
Rainy day in Cal. That's not a dad joke. That was a weather report from earlier on. I've got to scroll all the way back for that third dad joke, which I fear I didn't star earlier on. Oh my goodness. Okay, and we're finishing soon. We've had so much chat this morning, and no wonder I can't find the dad joke that I'm looking for. Here it is. Was Dr. Pepper, Heather, a physician?
Oh, that's a good one. I better laugh since he's the giver of the tickets, right? Thank you, Randy.
You'll be saying that.
Physician.
Today. All right, Heather. Thank you so much for being here. We've had a good giggle.
Thank you.
about Goliath.
Oh, Goliath. He is
Fantastic.
awesome. Yes.
And we've talked a lot about things Portuguese. So Mrs. M is here breathing down my neck
Hi.
right now, and we're going to try something Portuguese because you've given so many wonderful things to try here this morning. Heather, take care. Bye for now, and we'll see you soon. Ciao, ciao.
Bye for
See you on the
now.
webinar tonight and the Dream Team session at 9. Ciao, ciao.